I want to sort of jump the train here onto, I guess, the literary renaissance, and as to why fiction is just so life changing, and just reading good literature and books in particular. And I feel like I sort of found it more so when I finished this book, which is called 3 Days of Happiness, and it's a Japanese light novel about um, a boy who sort of mirrors a lot of um, like the early 20s people like me, who are in this sort of nihilistic, meaningless existence after college or during school, but we're devoid of purpose and meaning. And the things that we're working towards feel like at the end they're not going to pay off in some way. And this main character basically comes to a point where he's just so much in this pit of disparity that he decides that, I mean, when he goes to this very sketchy place, he meets a group of people that ask him, okay, so do you want to sell like the remainder of your life because it's so meaningless for money? And he agrees to this. So he has 3 months left to live now. He sold like 30 years for 300,000 yen, which is not a lot of money. And he has to figure out what to do with the time left remaining. And upon finishing this book, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like it repeated a lot of what has been said from the books I've read. But I feel like another part of me, it's touched me in a way that like made me feel things that no other book has been able to, sort of, I guess, in a more relatable kind of sense, because the character is like a student and he's my age and he lives in a more modern time, which is not to say that classical literature or the other books are anyway unrelatable or unreliable. I mean, there always will be, because they're classics for a reason. But this book, it has a sort of slice in life kind of feel. He's just wandering around doing a whole lot of nothing in his home, grocery store, CD shops, bookstores, and he has this assistant following him. Her name is Miyagi, and Miyagi's in charge of just supervising him. So in his last few months, he doesn't do anything stupid or reckless, because he has so little time left to live. But he admits that even if Miyagi wasn't there, he wouldn't even be doing anything like that, because he's just that devoid of just doing anything. Eventually, though, he does find some things to do with a list he's made, like visiting people from the past, doing very, very mundane, little things that you would kind of sort of think of doing as like just doing something that you would do every day. But suddenly, in this sort of time frame, that sort of mundanity becomes very meaningful. And I felt what this work of fiction has really done for me, which I've never annotated. I've only really just dog-eared some pages. But it really made me feel a lot about just, I mean, these type of lessons that I mean, like, these little moments can become, like, meaningful, but more so just morals, like picking up morals. I feel like this book taught me more of just reading fiction for the sake of experiencing it. Before this book, I've always tried annotating as much as I can. Like, I really like Dostoevsky, but I feel like every time I have to read him, I have to be annotating like crazy, or else I have this sort of fear that I'm not gonna get the most out of it. Like Notes from the Underground, Demons, for example, which is one of my recent reads, one of my favorites actually. But there was so much annotating I had to do, and it just felt like a chore at times, and it felt like, is this really what reading is supposed to be about? I mean, I love reading, but I don't want to think of it like I'm on my desk all the time. I have a pencil, and I have to constantly like be turtlenecked onto the page and just like looking for things to circle, words to highlight, passages to be, oh wow, that's an amazing thing or very insightful. But yeah, because of that, when now people say like online that a certain book is life changing, or this book changed my life, this book is so good, I kind of, I mean, maybe they didn't do it this way, but I feel like they sort of did it, said it was in the way that they were annotating things, as if it were something that we need to seek an answer out of, like it's just self-help, or it's just like this non-fiction book, but like the answer is hidden. But was really fiction supposed to be always about searching for this missing answer, or just trying to find a reason why it is life-changing? Whenever people say that, again, that a work is life-changing, and I pick up that book and I start reading it, as much as I try to deny it, I always have the bias that I give the benefit of the doubt to the book, that, oh, it's probably life-changing. And even though the book wasn't as compelling as I thought, I would always give it that, yeah, this book is really good because it is life-changing. And then to sort of reaffirm or support my stance, I would kind of go on this annotation hunt of very good passages, and then I would sort of go to YouTube or Reddit or SparkNotes and try to get everyone's opinion as to why this book was the greatest book ever made. And I feel like it kind of destroyed reading, really, for me, in many ways, because again, I was treating it like self-help. I mean, I'm not trying to demonize self-help or anything, but the reason why I feel we should be reading fiction, and why reading fiction should be, I mean, just more broadly done, is not because it is life-changing, or because it is about this one passage or this one paragraph or this one sentence. Even though these things are very important, I just feel like we just have to read it because it is an experience that just should be experienced. Like I mean, the person who plays video games, when he moves to a movie, because they both tell stories, it's going to be a whole different experience. Same thing for the movie person who now plays a video game. I mean, it's just, books are just something that are just so different, an experience that is almost surreal. Like, it's something so incoherent, just completely separate of reality. It feels like it shouldn't even exist at times because of how compelling it is, really. I mean, it's like you're scrolling on your phone, and then you sort of pass out on your bed, and then you lay on your back, and then you throw your phone out of your hand. You're like, what have I done for the past 2.5 hours? I should be getting ready. I should be washing my face. I should be going somewhere, touching some grass, and getting vitamin D. But reading is like if you throw your book, it's like the worst sin of all, because you just interrupted the best thing in your entire life. It's just, it detaches you in such a good way, like scrolling does, that detaches you, but except that reading is almost as good addiction. I mean, it's crazy. It's surreal what it can do. I mean, it's just beauty, really. I mean, Dostoevsky talks about this too, that to solve nihilism, or to solve this meaningless crisis, is to look for beauty and to experience it. And the way we can, I mean, there's many ways to experience it. I mean, just traveling, or just hanging out with your family, your friends, and just doing all that. But reading is just something that is so different that it should just be an experience that should be experienced on its own, just for the sake that it's reading, just because of how, I mean, just because of how different it is. I can't put it into words, really. I mean, I guess the thing can be, it sort of, well, it changes our subconscious. It's like we don't need to look for these answers like by annotating, because subconsciously, as we pick up a story and as we go through a story and we relate to these characters, and then we further immerse ourselves into the plot, the answer just kind of subconsciously gets driven in our head, and the experience almost becomes an answer too. And it's almost as if, that saying that goes like read, like a good book is worth reading again. Like it's as if the first read is just for the experience, and it's like that stage where the first read will make you want to go to the second just because of how good the experience was. But the second read is now not so much experience, but now where all that enlightenment and the knowledge lies without having to annotate. And even if we do annotate, we did already experience that before without having to do it simultaneously in the first. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong against annotating. It's just that I feel like we're treating reading more daunting than it actually is. It's just, and it should be beautiful. It should be completely, like, it just should be something that can't be explained. I feel like that's what literature is supposed to be about sometimes. It's just a feeling. And I feel like in social media or reels a lot, we are shown that beauty, this illusionist type of beauty, where we see a beautiful side of Everest or Switzerland or a mansion or a car, and yet they're beautiful. It's just we never experience it. It's like kind of, if you were to translate it in a book, it's like seeing a passage or a quote. You're like, wow, like that's an amazing quote, because I mean, it just sounds amazing. It's very profound, but we've never actually experienced it. And we just take it for what it is in that instant, like just the quote itself. But what makes the quote so beautiful, I feel, is the experience throughout the whole story. Like we have to read the whole story, and then the quote becomes even more prevalent. And it doesn't just become something that's objectively true, even though that might be the case, but it becomes like it almost becomes like just I don't know how to explain it really. It's just, yeah, I mean, on objectivity, I guess, fiction, even though there might be some sort of objective lesson we should take away from it, like we shouldn't really search for it, I feel. We should always let, I guess, sort of our subconscious be responsible for that. But my point today, I guess, is just to say we should read fiction not because it has life-changing passages, advice, or a key takeaway or key moral lesson, but because it's just an experience that everyone should be able to experience. Just words on a page of the relationship between your mind and how your eyes are just able to translate anything, and then let your mind do all sorts of creative sort of weird shenanigans that even like we still don't understand yet. And part of like not understanding it is why it is just so surreal. It feels almost like you're living a dream. Yeah, we should just read just because it's any experience that it's like a movie man switching to video game, a video game switching to a movie. It's just another thing that we should experience. It's another world we should be traveling to. It's another friend we should meet, or another, another food we should intake and see how it feels like. See how it tastes, and then we rate it, and then we go back to it, and then we realize like how much more meaningful it is. and how much more meaningful it gets because of that beauty that we've experienced. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's still more to talk about, but that's the most I could get out of myself today, I guess. I'm still trying to think. Yeah, if you haven't already though, I really recommend this book because and you just have to read it, I guess. No annotating, none of that, anything. Just reading it and just experiencing what even such a simple novel like this, pretty easy to read, can help us experience. And maybe that can at least give some path toward a less nihilistic, less meaningless life. Just to see another beauty, just another food to indulge in, another friend to talk to. Yeah, that's all I have to say today. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.